That's there's a Joe Biden moment waiting now. Jesus Christ. He gives us our life and our health and our strength, allows us to do what we do on a daily basis, keeps us in check. We get out of control a little bit sometimes. I find myself getting most out of control, usually on the highway. I'm trying to scan the room here and see if I can see any left lane Larrys. Y'all know what that is, right? That's that person that gets in the left-hand lane and drives 55. Not passing anybody, just kind of just sitting there on their phone. They have all kind of crazy fantasies when I'm over there in that lane. Mad Max fantasies, but it does. You know, even in times like that, I bring that up in jest. I remember once I was going down I-40, and as I was driving down I-40, I ran into a left lane Larry who was going very slow. And I realized at that moment that I was halfway going insane. I was so mad. And I was just you know how you do, road raging, but not road raging at the person, just in your car to yourself. And I stopped myself and I thought about it. I said, what is wrong with you? You are riding in a little self-contained chariot. It is about 95 degrees outside. The sun is not beaming down on you. In fact, it is the optimal temperature because you have this wonderful climate-controlled cab that you're sitting in. This wonderful gas-powered vehicle. You're not tired because you're not walking. You're not in any danger because you can outrun just about you can outrun any animal on the planet. Why are you so unhappy? Simply because somebody in front of you is going a little slow? Now I thought about it. I thought, wait a minute, that was not myself that tapped me on the shoulder. I didn't tap myself on the shoulder. God did at that moment. And he did to remind me of the blessings that I have. And he did it to remind me that, the attitude problem that I get because things don't go right, or because things are not set up the way that I want them to, because I'm angry, because I don't like the way my schedule looks. That's not anybody's fault except my own. That's my fault. And it's my fault for forgetting how blessed I actually am. Sometimes even when I have to come to events, sometimes I'm not in the best of mood because I have my mind at home. Sometimes my wife can't come with me and grandchildren may be at the house. I think back to the house, I think, man, I'd like to be at home, I'd like to be at home right now with my wife. It's a beautiful day. Remember one day in particular, and I'll see if I can get through this without getting too emotional, but I remember one day in particular, I went to the mountains. It was a long drive. I knew my family was back at home having a good time watching a ball game or something. I really wanted to be at home, and I was really not in the best of mood. When I got out of the car, that state trooper car, and I came around the car, I saw a couple of elderly people. And they struggled to get up out of their chair and walk around the fence just to come around. It was like they just wanted to get a glimpse. And it was at that moment that I knew why I was there. Why I stand on the stage in front of folks like you all. Politics is supposed to be this thing where folks run for office to win so they can show what a big shot they are. You're supposed to win, be a state senator or a state house member or mayor or whatever it is. Then once you get there, you're supposed to, they tell you, you're supposed to act dignified. You're supposed to carry yourself in a certain way. You're supposed to almost walk above everybody else. How in the world do you think God feels about that? You know, God ordained every seat that every politician sits in. They are the seat of power that have been ordained by him. And don't tell me, no, he didn't, because I don't believe in God. It matters not. He is still your king. He's still ordained that seat. That's part of the problem. Part of the problem is too many elected officials expect the public to hold the door for them. And actually what they should be doing is holding the door for the public. I appreciate my friend Senator Lazar calling me a leader. Appreciate that. Where's Senator Lazar? I appreciate that. But you know, I think we ought to change that. Me, you, all of us. We ought to change that. We ought not ever call ourselves leaders ever again. I don't think I will search the Word of God. I don't believe we ever saw Jesus call himself the leader. I believe I might be mistaken. I don't believe he ever called himself the leader. Jesus was a servant to all humanity. That's what we need to be as elected officials. We need to be servants to the people. We need to put the people first. This crowd of fellas we got up in Washington, D.C. right now. Some of them have been up there so long that you can't even recognize them anymore. You remember when you sent them up there, how they was coming around begging, sniffing around begging for your vote? Every time you turn around, right hand in their face, begging you for your vote. You voted them in office, sent them to Washington, D.C. Ain't heard from them no more. When you do hear from them, a lot of times they're doing the exact opposite of what you sent them up there to go do. Why? Because they go up there and they fall into the cabal. And now it's time to get up here. It's time to do two things. It's time to get rich, time to get reelected. You don't fit nowhere into the equation. My super PAC numbers, they're the ones fit into the equation. Those folks that are going to fund my next campaign, they're the ones fit into the equation. Them lobbyists with all the dollars hanging out of their pockets in the back hallways, they're the ones fit into the equation. We complain endlessly about that, but guess where the solution lies to that? The solution to that lies right here in front of you. The solution to that lies in folks just like you all over this community, all over this state, all over this nation. I said this once, I said this 1,000 times. It is time for the people of the United States of America to literally take this country back. Take it back. This country cannot tolerate any more classic politicians that think they walk on water and do no wrong and are better than us and look down their noses at us and tell us, oh, well, you just don't understand why I did so-and-so. Yeah, I understand why you did it. You understand it because you did it because you're out of touch and about out of your mind. That's why you did it. You did it because you don't understand the very premise, the very reason why you sit in the seat that you sit. I shudder to think what some of them have to do when they get standing in front of God. When they ask him, that seat that I ordained, that you begged me so hard and begged other people so hard to get in, give me an account for what you did in it. Give me an account. Show me how many children's lives you saved. Show how many widows and orphans you cared for. folks back home, the same ones you came from. Tell me why it is that you went ahead and passed that bill, passed that policy that put those folks out of work. Tell me why you put your own behind for folks who are breaking your nation's laws. You see, our country has sickness right now. Has a sickness. I was just looking at the television back out here just a minute ago. I was watching right here in Durham, a bunch of protesters blocking the highway. The mayor's confused, don't know what to do. Well, you know, we got to give people space to protest. I told somebody if I lived in Durham, the next city council meeting that happened, I'd go down there and I'd tell them something. What I told them was this: you got problems now, you know why? You ain't making them follow the law. Guess what? Me and my boys ain't gonna follow the law either. Next time you have one of these city council meetings, I'm gonna bring a barbecue down here. Have me a barbecue in it. We're gonna have hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm gonna use your gallon to flip the burgers with. I'm not following no more of your laws, no more of your rules, till you make everybody follow. Till you make everybody follow. That same spirit that's got them people on the highway in Durham, that same spirit that's got them people laying down in the middle of the road in Durham, is that same spirit that will break in your house, come inside your house and steal your stuff and assault you because they know that they got a weak mayor and an even weaker district attorney and weak judges that'll turn them right back out on the street. I can tell you this right now, they better be glad I'm not the mayor of Durham. Woo! It would be some knots on some heads tonight. Somebody would be icing their head tonight. And I took the news cameras and bring them down there. I said, you ever seen that show, that Woody Woodpecker show, that man, how many lumps you want? Bring the camera down here, because that's what we're fixing to do. It's time for somebody to stand up and be an adult in this nation. Stand up and be an adult. You don't block traffic. To tell you how this gonna work. You're gonna block the wrong one. You're gonna block that guy that just lost his job and ain't got a thing else to lose. And he's gonna turn you into a speed bump. Then I'm gonna come down to the hospital and tell you, didn't your mama tell you not to play in traffic? You know, you can go on from there, blocking the road, till you go on this whole thing about this whole transgender thing. But what's going on there? Men want to swim against women and wrestle against women and run track against women. You were 443rd when you were running against the men. Now you're number one with the women. But I don't see no women saying, I want to go run against that man. You see, one year, I yet to see one woman say, I feel like a man. I believe I want to go get beat by all those boys. I ain't seen it yet. But you see, all these so-called These men, not so-called men, want to compete against women. I tell you like this. Any seat I sit in, I don't care if I'm the governor, the city council member, no matter if I'm president of the United States, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Don't come to me and ask me about that foolishness. And I hope WRAL is in here tomorrow. Please print this tomorrow. Mark Robinson will never support men swimming, wrestling, or doing anything. Go on and on with this. Raleigh, in the city of Raleigh, they have canceled the Ferris parade. Yes, she's shocked. You shouldn't be. It's Raleigh. They canceled the Christmas parade. They had an incident, unfortunately, last year where a little girl was killed. And so they said no more vehicles in the parade. So As a matter of fact, let's just cancel parades altogether. I hope there's a camera in here, and I hope this gets back to it. I said this on the radio today. To the people who run the city of Raleigh, if you are too stupid to put on a parade, if you are too stupid to administer a parade safely, you do not deserve to be in office. You are useless to your government. You are useless to the people who run. You have no good to serve at all. Can't even put on a parade and you're in charge of the police department. Can't put on a parade, but you're in charge of water and sewer. Can't put on a parade, but you're in charge of education and all these important things. And can't even put on a simple parade. I went to the state fair, and they had these little tiny corridors at the state fair. So little tiny, and they had a veterans parade. And guess what was in that parade? A tank! I'm serious. It was an army tank. And there were tractors. And nobody got killed. No one got ran over. It's not about the parade itself. It's not about the thing that's in the parade. It's about the people who run the parade. And the people who run the city of Raleigh are not smart enough to efficiently and safely run a parade. We don't need to end parades. We need to end them being in office. I say all this, it seems like I'm bad-mouthing people. I'm sorry. If you let people go plop down in the middle of the highway and block traffic, you can't minister a parade. You think men who think they're women try to destroy women's sports that we spent the last 50 years trying to build up. It's not me that's bad-mouthing you. It's you that's bad-mouthing yourself and doing a disservice to anybody that you may serve as an elected official. So I made no qualms about pointing those things out. But let me tell you about the good news. Let me tell you about the good news of what I would love to do as your governor and why I would love to be your governor. Now, first off, I want you to understand what I just said. Why I would like to be your governor. I didn't say I want to be the governor. I don't. I do not want to be the governor. I don't. You know what I want to do? I want to go to Greensboro tomorrow morning, and I want to go to this man's office and say, yes, I'll take that lease on that building you offered me. And when he says yes, I want to sign the lease, pay my little down payment. And then I want to call the Model Railroad Depot, I believe is what it's called, in Ohio. And I want to make a long list of things to order and have them shipped down to my little building. And I want to run a model railroad shop.
Yeah.
I don't care if I don't sell one single solitary train. I just want to sit in there and wait for my grandkids to come by, my friends to come by, and just sit in that little corner of peacefulness for the rest of my life. That's what I want to do. Spend time with my wife. Just relax and have a great time. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. But guess what? It's not about what you want to do. It's about what you're called to do. It's about the duty that you have in front of you as a man. It's about answering the call. That's what we're doing here. We're answering the call. We're answering the call. God has opened the door. It's my job to walk through it. A lot of people call me and ask me if they should run for office. The first question I think I'm going to start asking is this: has the door opened? Not did you open the door. Not can you open the door. Not how can you open the door. The question should be, is the door open? If you believe God is leading you, He's the head of your life, and you say He's the head of your life, if you're going to run for office, you don't have to open the door. Trust me. He will open it for you. When I was starting to run for lieutenant governor, I didn't have a dime in the bank. I maybe had $40 in my personal account. My wife had all the money. I didn't have a dime in my account. I called people on the phone and told them I was going to run. They said, yeah, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. I hung up the phone, never heard from them again. Called one little guy. He said, meet me at Starbucks. Met him at Starbucks. The only thing he wanted to know, he said, tell me your story. Told him my story. He said, that's a very compelling story. I'll get back with you. Next day, he called me. He said, come to Panera Bread and meet me. I got something I want to go over with you. He had the whole thing written out. The whole thing, the whole plan written out. How we were going to run for lieutenant governor, neither one of us with a dime in our pocket, and win. Why? Because he had faith in our story. He had faith in me. You see, I didn't have to open the door. Somebody opened the door for me. The time I got there, the door was already open. All I had to do was have faith and walk through it. And we did. Sometime during that campaign, at the end of the month, I didn't think I was going to have enough money to pay my bills. But I had to do this thing called making phone calls. Sometimes I'd be on the phone and I'd call somebody out of the blue wondering how in the world I'm going to make these bills at the end of the month. You know, I need $8,000 to make my bills at the end of the month on this campaign. And I'd call somebody that I'd never talked to before. They'd ask me who I am. And I'd tell them. And I'd tell them what I believe in. They say, well, I'll look at you. I might support your campaign. Let me go look at your website. An hour later, that person give me the maximum amount of money they can give me, $10,000. I think at that time point it was $10,800. It happened over and over and over and over. The door never shut. As a matter of fact, every door that looked like was shut and opened up every time I walked to it. Every obstacle that came up all the way to the end of the race. When Michael Bloomberg came in and put $10 million into my race to defeat me. $10 million, and I barely had $1 million of my own. He knew all he had to do was throw his money at it and it would defeat me. But what Michael Bloomberg did not realize, Michael Bloomberg was not fighting me.
That's right.
He was not fighting me because God does not choose his people like we do.
That's right.
God chooses people so that they can prove themselves great. God chooses his people to prove his greatness. And there's only one reason why I won that race. And it was the power of God and nothing else. The naysayers, the political backbiters, the folks who count the beans, will tell you every reason why I should not have won that race. But we did. And we did it in stunning fashion. It didn't take a super PAC. It didn't take the movement of Washington, D.C. It didn't take the endorsement of high-powered politicians. What it took was for us to get out, number one, and tell the truth. Just tell the truth. And not man's truth, God's truth. Be unafraid to do it. Number two, tell the people. Because the people were the ones that propelled us. They were the ones that were the wings beneath our wings. It was the people who stood in the rain, stood in the heat, passing out literature. It was the people who went and knocked on doors and said, have you ever heard of a man named Mark Robinson? It was the people drove that victory. So, that's what we're doing now. We're here, running for governor to stand up for the people. You know, the state of North Carolina and I share a common story. A number of years ago, 2010 to be exact, North Carolina was broke. It's $3.4 billion in debt to the federal government, couldn't pay its bills. Furloughed state workers, teachers didn't get a raise for 6 years. About that same time, Mark Robinson was broke. Couldn't pay his bills. You know, one of my opponents tried to bring that up. Tried to say, you know, he got some bounce checks. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I had some bounce checks from 1993. And one was for $5 in gas. One was for $13 in groceries. Reporter called me up and asked me, said, you want to give an explanation for these bounce checks? Yeah, I was poor. Yeah, I was poor. Didn't have enough money. And they said that like I was going to be ashamed. Like I was going to be ashamed. Like I don't have this glorious story to tell in the name of God that in 1993 I couldn't cover a $5 check for gasoline. And here I am all these years later standing as the Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina. Why should I be ashamed of that story? If anything, my opponent should be ashamed for bringing it up. Why do I say that? Because guess what? I can drive you up to the mountains right now to a place called Canton, where 1,100 people lost their jobs in a paper plant. I bet some of them have got some bounce checks right now on things like their mortgage and their car payment. I bet you some of them are having to make some hard decisions right now between medicine and food, between rent and gas. You see, I understand where those people are. I understand where they are. Apparently my opponents don't. I guess they've never been there. I guess they've never heard the knock on the door. The next thing you know, they say, Sheriff's Department, got to get your stuff and get because you can't make your rent. They don't understand that. They never had to look at their children and tell them, I can't get you anything for Christmas this year because we don't have the money. They never seen the days when they had to count every penny that came in their household to try to dig yourself out of the debt that you're in. I've been there. I've suffered defeat, but I've known great victories. Because of that, now it's time for my turn to stand up. My time to stand up and serve the people of North Carolina. You know, we have this grand opportunity now. We've reversed everything. Our great legislature and all the folks in it have turned us around. We're no longer in debt to the federal government. Now we have a $5 billion surplus. We're the #1 business destination. What we do with that opportunity now is give every North Carolinian the opportunity to have a great life. And we do that by expanding our economy from Murphy to Manning, making the investments necessary to make that possible. It's already happening, folks. It is already happening organically. If we add in just a little magic, I think we can make it happen a whole lot faster. And I know that we will. We also need to do some things with something else. We need to fix our education system, folks. I left the state school board meeting. I'm not the kind of person. If I don't like you, you are going to know I don't like you. I am not one of these people you look at and go, hello, Mr. So-and-so. It's wonderful to see you. I can't do it. I got a bad poker face. And I do not like several members of our state school board. They are political thugs. Hold too much power. My greatest desire is to end their streak of power right now. How many of y'all know how the state school board works? See, I bet everybody in here thinks the state superintendent runs the school system. That's what everybody thinks. No, sir. No, ma'am. The state superintendent runs an agency called DPI, the Department of Public Instruction. She can hire and fire about that many people. And then she has about this many that she can do nothing with. She sits on the state school board. She ain't got a vote. She can't vote. She's an elected official who sits on the state school board and she can't vote. Education is being hijacked right now in this state by the state school board, and I want you to know it. And I want you to know it for this reason. There are 11 folks on that state school board, and I believe 8 of them, if I'm not mistaken, 8 of them are appointed by the governor and have zero accountability to you. They don't have to care what you think, because you can't do anything to them. The legislature can't do anything to them. They can't be fired. They can't be removed. At least they think so. You know, it takes a 3/5 majority, right, to change our state constitution. Right now, we have a supermajority in Raleigh. And we got some doggone favorable maps Congress before long to change that Constitution, to give you the right to change that Constitution. Yes. And if we do, I pray to God we do. Because having a state school board is unaccountable to the people is unacceptable. It is unacceptable and intolerable. And we have got to change it. Because in this state, we have got to bring real education back to the table. Classical education, reading, writing, mathematics, civics, financial literacy. And here's a big one. Let's start getting our children career ready instead of college ready. Those two pieces, education and our economy, are going to be the key to taking North Carolina to its next level of success. But I can tell you this right now, it's going to take some fight. It's going to take some fight. I like to throw this name out there. My good friend, President Donald J. Trump. People want to talk garbage about this man. People want to say, I saw one commercial that said, you know, Trump is a good guy, he had great policies, but we ought to get rid of him. The news media ain't never going to leave him alone. I want somebody to say that to me. I want them to say it to me. I want y'all listen to me. There's a lot of people right now that are backing away from Donald Trump like this, easing away from him. Why? They're scared. They said the news media just won't leave him alone. He just won't keep his mouth closed. He's just too demonstrative. And he says too many this, that, and the other. And he says all that, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And then out the corner of their mouth, they have the nerve to say, we need a fighter. You sound like the guy that called the cops, and then when the cops got there and did what they had to do, you go, you didn't have to do it like that. You should have just pinned it on his head and said, it's all right, little boy. You see, people want to turn their backs on Donald Trump not because Donald Trump is bad. They want to turn their backs on Donald Trump, and I'm going to say this, period. You are a coward, is what you are. You're a coward. You let a man who did not need to be president. He had no reason to run for president. Donald Trump took his billions, went and bought an island and watched America burn. Not had any of these troubles. He wouldn't have been put in jail down in Georgia. He wouldn't be getting chased by the news media. He wouldn't be getting stopped by all the Democrats and half of the people in his own party. He had no reason to do what he did other than the fact that he loves America. The globalists hate, all these things that the Marxists hate, and they attack it en masse. And then what happens to Republicans? They retreat. Retreat into the woods like cowards. Just like those men that left David out there to go fight Goliath. Grown, great, big, proud men. Sending a boy out there to go do a man's job. Men and women who've been in office for 40 years. President Trump went in office and did it 4. They couldn't do it 40. Bottom line is this. What Trump did, if DeSantis does, they're going to do the same thing to him. Then what you going to do? Run away from him too? Nikki Haley, I ain't going to say she ain't going to do it. Must be some Nikki Haley fans up here tonight. I don't know. If she goes in office and does it, they're going to do the same thing to her. Anyone who does what needs to be done to save this country, save the state, they're going to be attacked. Therefore, those of us who want to save this country, save the state, have to stand with our warriors, arm in arm. We have to stand with them, fight with them, fearlessly, because we know we are right. We are right. We're not just on the right, we are right. How do we know that? How do we know that? Take a look at the compared states. Compare California to Florida. Compare Texas to Illinois. Compare Arkansas to New Jersey. Compare New York to North Carolina. What you see in North Carolina is success. What you see in Florida is success. What you see in Texas and Arkansas is success. South Dakota, you see success. What do you see in those other places? Abject failure. Abject failure. Our policies work because our policies are not based on ideas. They are based on principles. And principles work every time. So, as we move forward running for this seat, I want you to know, again, I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm not doing this anymore because I want to. Then the men on D-Day rode those Higgins boats. They didn't want to be there. Seasick, in the middle of the English Channel, riding toward an almost certain doom. They didn't want to be there. Those firefighters on 9/11, they didn't want to be there in those buildings as they were collapsing, but they did it. Now, I don't want to be here now getting attacked by the press, having them dig in my background, try to follow me around, try to attack my wife and my family. I don't want any of that, but I'll do it. I'll do it if it means standing up for this state. I'll do it if it means getting to a place where I can help this state get to the next level. I'll do it if it means standing with the warriors that have been doing it years before I ever got there. I'll do it. Why? Because this state is working. And when I say this state, I mean you. Now look out over this audience. I see the same scars. Same scars. The same battle scars that I have through life. Job loss, struggle, hunger. All of it. I see it in the faces of the people I'm looking at right now. There's not a person in there I don't believe that suffered some of the same things that I've suffered. Sharing some of the same struggles that I've suffered. And here you are, still standing, still winning, still fighting, still making it happen every day. What I want to be is not your leader. I want to be your partner. I want to be the facilitator of your success. I want to show up like that concierge at the 5-star hotel. You know that little man that comes out that towel on his arm? I want to come out from Raleigh, get in my car, come to your neighborhood and ask you, what is it that I can do for you? How can I serve you? What is it that you need from me? Then I want to deliver it to you. And then I want to get out of the way and let you do it. Because that's how government is supposed to work. You're supposed to be the leader. We're supposed to be the servant. And together, we're supposed to make the state and the nation great. So let's do that. Let's partner together. Take North Carolina to its next great height. God bless you all. God bless the great state of North Carolina. Thank you. Melinda, for those of y'all don't know, I'm gonna keep this number. I like training, so I know I like training. So for everybody that puts on one of these things for us, we give them one of these little trainings on their desk, and we want to present this to you. Now I know there were a lot of people involved in this, but like I always say, nothing happens till you get a woman involved. Thank you so much for having me. House members, Senate members, State House, State Senate. How many we got here? Put your hands up. How many we got? Come on up here. Can you come up here?
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know what that is. I'm just jump on that. like yourself. Watch that step, I'm telling you. Guys, I want to remind y'all before I go. The statistics I gave you about us being $3.4 billion in debt to the federal government and all that good stuff. The reason why we got out of that, guys like this, men and women who serve in our state senate, serve in our state house. You weren't in the state house? You weren't in the state house? Well, you sure look like somebody who was. Anybody in here a former member? I don't want to leave nobody out because I'm telling you, we have got to give these guys and gals more credit for where our state is. Roy Cooper is not responsible for the financial well-being that this state finds itself in right now. These folks are responsible. Y'all make sure y'all celebrate thank you before you go. Thank y'all. God bless.
All right, about another round. I need your patience just a little longer. How about a round of applause for Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson and your honor for being here. Please do not go anywhere. Please do not go anywhere. Just be here a couple more minutes. Before we retire the colors, it's appropriate to give thanks to those who helped